Sit relaxed and be in the present moment, as we are going to apply what we learned on the first day. It's okay if you don't remember what the steps are, as this is all still new. Please follow the 5 steps of the homework assignment that I wrote on the whiteboard. They are again. 1. Stay in the present moment with mindfulness at the base. 2. Observe the contact at the 5 aggregates or 6 sense organs. 3. Observe how the mind reacts in 2 ways. A. Lost in sensual pleasure. B. Over-focusing, controlling and tormenting the mind to stay at the base. Just know when the mind has gone down one of the 2 wrong paths, and bring it back to the base. 4. Now the mind is fully cultivated as a result of practicing 1 to 3 above. Objectively observe at the base and A. Now the knower mind will separate from mental and physical phenomena. B. The knower mind will now see the cause and effect of the arising of phenomena. 5. Repeat all the above with effort, patience, and resoluteness. Keep practicing until it becomes natural for all 5 steps to arise spontaneously. This is how we strengthen the knower mind. For those who intend not to move during the meditation, this is a good opportunity to practice using feeling as the foundation for mindfulness. But if you can't tolerate the pain, you can move a little bit. We practice to tolerate pain and discomfort because we don't know when we will experience them in our daily life, but we know we will. We need to be present to practice and strengthen mindfulness and concentration. Someday, we may find ourselves paralyzed and unable to move the body. We may have to work with somebody we hate or who hates us, or we may have to leave our loved ones or hear bad news and suffer greatly. How will we be able to bear any of that if we can't tolerate 1 hour of sitting still? We have to have right understanding of how to practice, a strong intention and apply effort, patience and resoluteness so that we can complete 1 hour of sitting meditation while moving as little as possible. We aren't doing this to intentionally cause suffering or pain, but to strengthen the mind with mindfulness and concentration until it becomes equanimous to the pain. We can also apply this technique in our daily life when we experience unexpected trouble or emergencies. There are 2 kinds of faith. 1. Faith with wisdom that comes from right understanding, correctly understanding the teaching. 2. Blind faith which comes from trusting but without right understanding. We need to have the first kind of faith in Buddha's teaching, Dhamma, on cause and effect, action and consequence of action. Buddhism is not a religion of blind belief, but is more a philosophy or system of spiritual development, based on the 4 Noble Truths. We practice and develop the 10 perfections with right mindfulness and concentration until the knower mind is fully cultivated, and we constantly make a strong effort to observe when the mind wanders off, to know it and bring it back to the base. When we see an object, the knower mind is consciously aware that the eyes see the form, and then the knower mind objectively observes whether we like or dislike, want or don't want the object. For example, we need to be patient when we have a pain in our leg, are bored, sleepy or whatever we may experience, and let the knower mind objectively observe how the mind reacts to the phenomena. When the phenomenon passes away, we are free for 1 moment. This means that the knower mind has stably observed from the base for 1 moment. The more we practice with effort, the more the knower mind will become strong. This kind of mind is aligned with the path to enlightenment, and the hard part of our meditation practice is to train the mind to become this knower mind. A lot of people don't understand this and waste their time instead of putting in effort until the 4 foundations of mindfulness are fully cultivated and right concentration or the knower mind arises. This is the key to success in our practice. Separating the knower mind from physical phenomena. Try to objectively observe and separate the mind from mental and physical phenomena. We can see the body in 3 different ways. 1. The body is the form aggregate which is breathing air in and out. 2. The body is a posture, standing, sitting or lying down, etc. 3. The body is the 5 physical sense organs: eyes, nose, ears, tongue, and body. When the eye sees an object, the mind objectively observes the contact at the eyes. There is no entity or person that is causing it to see or who is seeing. This is called separating the knower mind from physical phenomena. We simply know that we see, and when the ears hear sound, the knower mind is consciously aware of the contact at the ears. Separating the knower mind from mental phenomena. There are 2 ways in which the 3 mental states, feeling, perception, and mental formation, can arise, and watching them arise is called the mental process. 1. There is contact at the 5 physical sense doors. 2. The mental phenomena, such as a thought, arises by itself. When the eyes see a form, the ears hear a sound, the nose smells an odor, the tongue tastes a flavor, and the body senses touch, this may cause one of the 3 mental states to arise or may cause the feeling of like or dislike to arise. This contact can cause the mind to stray from the base, and, if it does, just bring it back. But if the mind is stably and objectively observing from the base, it is already separate from mental and physical phenomena. Whenever contact causes the mind to think, we see how dependent origination causes like, dislike, craving, and clinging to arise. If mindfulness is absent, the mind will naturally follow the cycle of dependent origination causing suffering to arise, but if mindfulness is objectively observing from the base, wisdom will see the 3 marks of existence: impermanence, suffering, and no self, of the feelings of liking, disliking, craving, and clinging. We need to cultivate mindfulness to be in the present moment because we can't predict what will happen to the body or mind. Mindfulness will then be aware of contact and bring the mind back to the base when it strays. If you're not able to observe the breath comfortably, then you can use the whole body as the base. When we stay at the base and the mind becomes calm, clear comprehension, the beginning of wisdom, seeing deeply into action and the consequences of action, will arise to prevent the mind and mindfulness from straying. When we're sitting and meditating and the mind becomes restless and lost in the imagination and daydreams, we can open the eyes to be more aware and bring us back to the base. If mindfulness is weak, we first focus on concentration at the base until concentration becomes strong and the mind becomes strong and calm at the base. Then we transition from concentration to mindfulness and cultivate mindfulness until it becomes right concentration, or knower mind. At this point, there is no self or entity which is practicing, only the knower mind and the object known. Now the knower mind will separate from physical and mental phenomena, and because the ego or self is normally identified with them, the sense of ego, I or self will decrease. The benefit of this is that the knower mind will see that the body and mental states don't belong to us, they're just known objects. If the body and mind don't belong to us, the suffering that was attached to them will also not belong to us. The more the knower mind is aware of contact at the body and mind, the more it will see distance between itself and physical and mental phenomena and be able to eradicate the illusion of self. Buddha said the only place where the mind is safe to wander is at the 4 foundations of mindfulness: contemplation of the body, contemplation of the mind, contemplation of the feelings, and contemplation of mind objects. Using these 4 foundations as the base of the mind, then it will become the knower mind which can separate itself from physical and mental phenomena. Without fully cultivating right mindfulness, it is impossible to separate the knower mind from physical and mental phenomena. When we feel bored, we objectively observe and separate the knower mind from the boredom. At this moment, there's no one who is bored, just the knower mind and then the boredom arising. Then the boredom can't control the knower mind to perform action, and we're not attached to the boredom, and there's no one that is bored. We feel free from boredom. Also, when we've been practicing for a few days and we're experiencing pain, boredom, and the desire to leave and go home, we need to objectively observe and separate the knower mind from these mental phenomena. Then these thoughts of leaving can't control the knower mind to perform action. We're not attached to these thoughts, and there's no one to leave the retreat. We feel free from this desire. Nowadays, we may have to live with family members who cause us a great amount of stress. We may have a physical illness, such as cancer, or we may have mental problem, such as insomnia or depression, so we need to train the mind to objectively observe and separate itself from these phenomena. Then they can't control the knower mind to perform action, we're not attached to them, and there's no one to suffer. The benefit of separating the knower mind from physical and mental phenomena is that we can apply it to our daily life, especially when we experience trouble, distress, or a life crisis. We will have the knower mind to separate itself from these phenomena. They may still exist, but they belong to no one, we're not attached to them, and no one will suffer from them. We need to cultivate effort, patience, and resoluteness sufficiently to separate the knower mind from physical and mental phenomena. Then the knower mind will realize that the body is one part and the three mental states are another, and it will see the cause and effect of these mental and physical phenomena, or dependent origination, by objectively observing the feeling of like and dislike that cause craving and clinging to arise. As you should know, craving and clinging are the cause of suffering. If we're not mindful to objectively observe physical and mental phenomena, the mind will stray and attach to the feelings of like or dislike. Then craving and clinging will control us to perform action and cause future suffering to arise. In order to prevent this from happening, we have to fully cultivate the four foundations of mindfulness until right concentration or knower mind arise. Since the knower mind is stable, it will detach and separate itself from the cycle of dependent origination and physical and mental phenomena, and there will then be no cause for the feelings of liking, disliking, craving, and clinging to arise, and nothing to control us to perform action, so there will no one suffering in the future. The suffering of physical and mental phenomena won't be part of us, and wisdom will see them arising, existing, and passing away by their own nature, and we won't suffer as the suffering is not ours. When we are physically or mentally ill, such as with depression, irrational anxiety, or fear, we can see that only the body or mind is sick and not the knower mind, and we can be free and happy. This is called separating the knower mind from physical and mental phenomena. This is the result of training in mindfulness until it becomes right concentration or knower mind. Before we practiced mindfulness, our mind would become attached to physical and mental objects, but now, when the mind wanders off, we know it much quicker and it goes back to the base by itself, and we see the improvement in our practice. While we are sitting and listening to me talking, the ears hear my voice, the eyes see forms, the nose smells, the tongue tastes, and the mind thinks, but the knower mind objectively observes these phenomena and separates itself from them. When these phenomena contact the six sense doors, we may feel happy, unhappy, wholesome, unwholesome, liking, disliking, craving, or clinging, and we need to objectively observe them from the base and separate the knower mind from them. When we practice the four foundations of mindfulness, the resultant phenomena can be good or bad. We can have physical pain or pleasure, but the important thing is to be mindful and observe how the mind reacts to the pain or pleasure, good or bad phenomena. We need to see how our mind is reacting to the contact, to make sure it has a good quality in order to separate itself from physical and mental phenomena. If the mind wanders, just know it and always bring it back to the base until it's fully cultivated. Off for too long, then know it. But if the mind is objectively observing, at that moment the knower has already arisen and separated itself from physical and mental phenomena. When the mind is at the base and has separated itself from physical and mental phenomena, this will cause wisdom to see the three masks of existence of physical and mental phenomena. This is called insight meditation or Vipassana. You can separate the knower mind from physical and mental phenomena while you're listening to the Dhamma talk. Check to see if there is a knower mind and object known while you're listening. If there is no knower mind, it will be you that is listening to the Dhamma. If you are listening to Dhamma, you will hear your own perspective and ideas being expressed, and liking, disliking, craving or clinging to the talk may arise, and the teaching will be stored temporarily in perception and will eventually disappear. But if there is only knower mind, you will simply share and understand the pure Dhamma. Or if the mind strays or overfocuses, just be aware of it and bring it back to the base. This is called listening to Dhamma with mindfulness. However, if mindfulness is fully cultivated, it will be stable, objectively observe at the base and separate itself from the 5 aggregates or 6 sense doors, and all the wisdom of the Dhamma talk will be stored in the subconscious to arise whenever there is a crisis in your life. The quality of the knower mind is calm, light, bright, suitable for practicing, and quick to recognize phenomena. Even though you sit and experience pain, sleepiness, boredom, laziness and desire for sensual pleasure, knower mind will objectively observe and separate itself from them. The knower mind will cause wisdom to see that all of these phenomena are arising, existing and passing away, eliminating craving and clinging. The more they are eliminated, the more the root of self and ego will fade away from the subconscious. This is called Vipassana or insight meditation, which will change our behavior and habits quickly. The more craving and clinging and defilements are eliminated, the more the mind will experience freedom, causing inner happiness to arise in the present moment, even if there is physical or mental suffering. Practicing mindfulness is crucial at every time and everywhere. We need to objectively observe and know whether we are in the present moment and have mindfulness as we're breathing in and out, or working or playing in our daily life. The more we practice, the more mindfulness will arise spontaneously, causing the mind to be stable and objectively observe from the base. This will cause right concentration or knower mind to arise and separate itself from physical and mental phenomena. When the knower mind is fully cultivated, there is no one, no entity or self, just the knower mind and the object known. The more we practice with the knower mind, the more craving and clinging to the body and mind and to the illusion of self will decrease. This knower mind has the required good quality to practice Vipassana meditation, which frees us from attachment and suffering in the present moment and in the future. I hope you have enjoyed this Dhamma talk and will continue practicing the 5 steps of the assignment to separate the knower mind from physical and mental phenomena. Thank you for listening and for your practice. I hope it is helpful and useful to you in your daily life. Anumodana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Trisikkha Insight Meditation Center. Plant City, Florida, USA.